So today I'll be talking about the importance of football culture. Now, in my opinion, a football culture can make or break a team's success. Now you're probably wondering, JT, like what do you mean by football culture? So a team's football culture is literally just the values they hold, the rules they hold, even what type of players they have at the club, what type of managers they have at the club. This could be regarding like the attitude of players, or even the place, or even the team's play style. Like what type of players do they need to like fit their play style? So for example, we're talking about like Spain and Barcelona. Obviously, they're the possession team, they're the tiki taka team, so they're gonna need, them real technical players. Guys like Lamine Yamal for Barca, guys like Pedri, guys like Gavi, all these guys who are technically competent. You're not really gonna see a lot of the times at Barcelona like a real pace and power player, who's sort of deficient in technical ability. You're not really going to see that because that just goes against the value of Barcelona. Everyone knows Barcelona as the tiki-taka club, possession, keep the ball, pass the ball, move the ball, as Pep Guardiola would say. So, yeah, literally, that's their culture. Obviously, you got a team like Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid, they're doing their Galactico swing right now. Obviously, they did it back then with Ronaldo, Kaká, Benzema, or even Beckham, R9, Figo. Like basically, they're just trying to collect the Infinity Stones. Like, and they're on it right now again with Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Bellingham. But that's always kind of been Real Madrid's style. Like they've always wanted to just get the biggest names in football, put them in a team together, and just mash work basically. So obviously that's sort of their values, their culture. That's sort of what they believe in. That's what they believe success to be. And obviously they've won like how many Champions Leagues is it now? Is it 15? So you can't really hate, you can't really blame them. Then obviously you got teams like Italy. Italy are known as the defensive team. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they still produce, great strikers, but it's more about that defensive solid unit. And also, you can even see it in like Serie A. If you watch like Serie A Italian football, it's more very defensive. You see a lot of five at the backs, especially with teams like Inter Milan. Obviously, Inter Milan won the Serie A last year. They're just majority five at the back, three centre mids in front of them, and then the two strikers up top. So this is what I mean by football culture. It's basically just your team's identity, your team's culture, your team's value. So I'm going to talk about why it's important to have a good football culture, and how you as a player you can influence your team's culture to have a good culture, positive culture, make sure everyone's working hard, and yeah, ultimately so you can win games. So the first feature in a good culture I want to talk about is equality. Now I feel like in pro football, certain guys can get the superstar treatment and it's completely fine. Guys like Messi, CR7, Ronaldinho, like these guys, they can get the superstar treatment. They can be late to training, they can miss a few training sessions. You know what I'm saying, they might not have to do the same thing as everyone else. Like they don't have to do the recovery work, and that's completely fine because let's be honest, when they step onto the football pitch, you know they're gonna win you the game either way. So I feel like at the pro level, equality isn't really a big thing. I feel like you still have to sort of pander to like the big names, the big stars. Obviously, we've seen it with like Mbappe at PSG. Like these guys basically gave this guy, he basically ran the club in it because they were like, yo, we don't want to give him this power. He might be moving like a dickhead, but yo, when he gets onto the pitch, we know he's gonna win us games. We know he's gonna win us games, win us obviously the French league. He's gonna get us to the later rounds of the Champions League. So obviously this is why clubs do that for certain players. However, I feel like at youth level, in my experience, I feel like equality is a must. Like that's the only way to have a good culture is to have equality. It doesn't really matter like if a certain player is better than these players, or if this guy is going to academy, or if he's been to academy this, or he's played here this, he's played here that. I just feel like once you're between those ages of like sort of 10 and like 16, coaches and basically players in general, you just have to treat everyone the same, in my opinion, because it's the way to get the best out of everyone. Because think about it, if you got players who are late to training, but then they never get punished, there's never repercussions for them. The other players are gonna look around and be like, wait, but when I'm late, I have to do all of this. I have to run laps. I have to do burpees. I have to do push-ups. When this guy comes late, nothing happens. And obviously from there, it's just gonna breed resentment. It's just gonna breed like entitlement to the other players. Because I remember sometimes it even happened with me. Like I remember on some of my teams, I'd come late. Certain guys had to run laps because they ran late, but then I'd come late, and then my coaches were like, oh JT, just jump in the session, just jump in the session, and I didn't have to run the laps. And obviously, once you start doing that, that's when the team starts breaking down, because that's where other people are feeling unfairness. Other people might be demotivated to, work as hard in training, putting the effort in games, in matches, in certain drills that you do. And that's where sort of like the breakdown comes in. That's where sort of like the resentment between teammates happens, because obviously it's not, obviously if the coach is giving privilege to one player, it's not really that player's fault, but the other players are still gonna feel away about it. The other players are still gonna be like, yo, who's this guy, man? Like, how does he get away with all of this, do all of this, and nothing happens to him? Like, so yeah, I feel like equality, especially when you're at youth level, it's a must. And that even goes for you as a player as well. Like, I don't care how good someone is, yo, still hold them to the same standards as hold the best player to the same standards as the worst player. You know what I'm saying? Don't treat anyone else like, especially don't be, you know what I'm saying, don't be glazing the best player, don't be saying this and that, or letting him get away with certain things, but then when another guy does something, you get onto him, you start shouting at him. So let's say, for example, if the best player loses the ball and he doesn't run back, you still have to shout at that guy the same way you would shout at the worst player if he lost the ball and he doesn't run back either. Because I've seen it a lot in my teams as well, is that the best player, what's it called? It's like teammates are scared to shout at the best player. Like, it's mad weird to me. But then as soon as like a guy who doesn't really start games, as soon as like the bench warmer gives the ball away, everyone's screaming. Everyone's like, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And obviously, in my opinion, it's normal in it, because obviously the best player is probably losing the ball a lot less often than the worst player. Like, I get it, but in my opinion, you just have to hold everyone to those same standards, because it's just gonna, once you hold everyone to the same standards, people are gonna look around and be like, okay, so if I work hard in training, that means I'm gonna get my start in matches. But if the coaches start doing this thing of like, oh, it doesn't matter if he has a bad 5 games or a bad 10 games, he's still gonna start regardless. Then the bench players are gonna be looking like, so if he's gonna start regardless, like, what's the point of me coming to training? What's the point of me working hard? What's the point of me doing this and that? People are gonna start feeling like, oh, I come to training every week, I do this, I do that. This guy misses training sessions. This guy has bad games, but then he never gets dropped. He still plays 90 minutes every single game. And when you have things like that, it just becomes toxic. Like, people start getting into fights. People start leaving. You have less numbers at training. Like, it's weird. It just never works out well. Like, look at Eric Ten Hag, bro. Like, this guy literally said that despite Rashford playing poorly, despite him not scoring for this amount of games, but despite him not tracking back when he loses the ball, despite him walking around on the pitch like he's not interested, he doesn't care, he still told the media that, yo, I don't care how bad he plays, I'm still going to play him even if he's in bad form. I'm just going to play him until he gets back into form. So obviously, when he says that, how do you think guys like Sancho are feeling? Guys like Diallo are feeling? Guys like Anthony are feeling? They're thinking, yo, what's the point in me even coming to training, putting in effort, working hard, doing all of this, if Rashford is still gonna play just because he's seen as like the poster boy of Man United, just because he came from the academy and all of these things? Like, guys are gonna look at it like what's going on here? And obviously, we all know what happened to Ten Hag. This guy got sacked. So, like I said, it just never works out. It just never works out. Even at the pro level, to be honest, it just never works out. I feel like that superstar treatment, it should be for superstars, not guys like Rashford. You know what I'm saying? Rashford hasn't done enough in the game to get that superstar treatment. At Barcelona, when Messi got that treatment, people were cool with it because it's like, all right, Messi, you know what I'm saying? 4 Ballon d'Ors by the time he was like 23 or something. Cool, cool. Same as CR7 when he was at Real Madrid. He can get that superstar treatment. But when you start giving mediocre guys that superstar treatment, when you start giving like a 14-year-old playing in like under 50s that superstar treatment, guys are going to be looking around like, yo, who's this guy? Like, what's going on? People are gonna start, you know what I'm saying, having resentment, not really working as hard, and ultimately it's just not good for team morale. Now, the next feature of a good culture is literally hard work and competition. So this could be competition within your actual team, between your teammates. So I'm talking about, you want to have a culture in a team. Anytime, the best teams I've been on, it's always been a culture of like, the training sessions are hard. Like, the training sessions feel like matches in terms of how people compete with each other, how people really work hard, how people, you know what I'm saying, just how people operate, just how people are just really professional. That's how it's always been on the best teams I've been on personally. Like, in the rondos, in the like the possession drills, in the small sided games, in the shooting drills, everything's a competition. Everyone wants to try beat everyone. Everyone's trying to score more goals than Everyone's trying to score the most goals in the shooting drill. Everyone's not trying to be in the middle for the rondos. Everyone's trying to be on the winning team in the possession drills and in the small-sided games. Like, even in things like the bleep test, even in things like the 12-minute Cooper run, on the best teams, everyone's trying to compete. Everyone's trying to be the best that they can be. Even if they know that, oh, they're not as fit as this player, or they're not as talented as this player, there's still that competition. There's still that mentality of like, yo, I don't care if he's this or that. Yo, I'm still gonna make him work. I'm still gonna make him fight for every single ball, every single challenge, even if he's my teammate. As long as obviously you don't want to go in 2 footing guys, injuring guys, but still keep that competitive spirit, because obviously the way you train is the way you play. So obviously that's going to transfer over to match day. That's going to trickle over to match day. And obviously when it comes to match day, you're going up against guys who are not even your teammates. So you're going to be even more fired up, even more ready to just go out there and kill guys, basically. So yeah, because I mentioned this because some of the teams I've been on, it's like, or not even some of the teams I've been on, just in general, I don't know, it's weird in general, yeah. Even in school football, like, in general, it's almost like working hard is sort of downplayed, it's sort of made fun of, it's sort of mocked. Like, how many times have you heard like a guy doing, like, let's say we're doing like a bleep test, or we're doing like a fitness drill where the coach has told us to like run around the whole pitch, and everyone else is lacking behind, and there's always that one guy he's just Mr. Fitness. He's just going and he's going and he's going. What do people always say about him? Do people go, oh, look at, let's say his name is like Harry or something. Yo, do people say, oh, look at Harry, man, like he's so fit. I wish I was like Harry, like good for him, like he's working hard. Nah, people are like, yo, look at this. People start hating. People are like, yo, look at this Harry guy. Look at this try hard, bro. Like, why are you trying so hard, bro? Relax, bro. Like, people be like, oh, it's not that deep, bro. Like, relax. Why are you being such a try hard? Like, you get that a lot, bro. Even if it's like you're trying too hard in the possession games or in the warm up. I know it's happened to me before, where it's like we were just warming up, we were opening the gates. I was just doing my thing, opening the gate. I was just trying to keep warm, you know what I'm saying? And then I think someone was like, oh, JT, like, why are you being such a try hard? Like, why'd you always go bare fast in the warm up? Like, relax, bro. It's just the warm up. And it's like, bro, I'm just trying to warm up. Like, I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get myself into that zone. So yeah, I mentioned this because I feel like people always downplay hard work. It's almost like being the lazy guy is praised. Being the lazy guy is like cool all of a sudden. And obviously that's not the case, because ultimately when you make it to the pro game, you're not really gonna find lazy players. Obviously there's gonna be players who work harder than others, but you're not really gonna find lazy players. Everyone's still playing to that standard. Everyone still wants to get into the starting 11. Everyone's still competing and training for competition, for places on a match day, because obviously if you're playing, more money, more sponsorships, more this, more brand deals, more that, you know what happen, you know how it is in the pro game. So ultimately, as a player, you probably gonna have to, play a part in creating that culture. Make it almost cool for people to work hard. Encourage people to work hard. Encourage people in training. Yo, play quicker, or that's not good enough, or what's it called? Do this, do that. If someone's not running back, tell them, yo, run back in training. If you feel like someone's sort of not really putting in 100% in like the fitness drills, or like in doing this or doing that, or they're not really taking the warm up seriously or the rondo seriously, yo, just tell them to pattern up straight away. Just create that culture of like, yo, when we're at training, we're locked in. We're locked in. This is our preparation for match day. This is where we're gonna win the game, basically. So obviously, you as a player, also you might get looked at as a bit of a dickhead if you're always onto people. If you're always onto people, people are gonna be looking at you like, oh, this guy's doing too much. Like, what's he doing? Like, he's just moving like a tryhard. But ultimately, if you're winning games, and you're, what's it called? Ultimately, if you're telling people what to do, if you're telling people to fix up, if you're telling people to pan up, and you end up winning games, everyone's happy at the end of the day. So literally, I wish I was like that more when I was younger, about, just telling people to, take stuff seriously, because I always tried to take things seriously, even if it was like the most, even if it was like drills that didn't really look like they had like proper meaning. Even if they looked a bit meaningless, I still tried to take it seriously. Even if it was just like the warm up, the rondos, I always tried to take things seriously. And I'd always see guys, you know what I'm saying, messing about, doing this, doing that. So I wish I was just like, yeah, I just told them like, yo, pattern up, like fix up. Like, this is our preparation for the game. This is where this is where we just need to be ready basically, and yeah, just ready for Saturday match or Sunday match, whatever match you have. And yeah, just tell them to pattern up, because ultimately, if you win the game, no one's getting on to you. You just have to make sure that you're doing your part, because you can't be the guy telling people to do this, do that, and you're not performing in training yourself. You're not performing on match days yourself. So yeah, literally, you can create that culture, because as soon as your team starts winning, then people are gonna start to follow. Then people are gonna be like, all right, cool. So we're training like this. We're training with intensity. We're competing with each other, and it's working. We're winning games. So obviously, people are gonna just start doing that more and more and more. And obviously, that's basically how you create a culture. That's how you create a winning culture. So that's all I got to say for this vid. Hope you enjoyed. I've been JT, and I'm out.